It's Wednesday, February 7th, 2024. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, Biden promises aid to California after mudslides and power outages. An atmospheric river that rolled through California over the past few days has triggered more than 120 mudslides, forced evacuations and rescue missions, and left hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses without power for several days, alongside all the destruction to roads and buildings and other sorts of infrastructure. There are 3 confirmed deaths so far, and millions of residents remained under flood alerts as of late Tuesday night. This new wave of storms follows another wave a week earlier, and though these atmospheric rivers are normal aspects of the water cycle in California, typically providing the area about 50% of the rain it receives in a year, these storms have become more intense in recent years, with 46 atmospheric river events tallied on the U.S. West Coast since last winter, 9 of which were categorized as strong, 2 that were extreme, and 1 that was exceptional. From Bloomberg, Samsung billionaire acquitted in succession suit. The executive chairman of Samsung, J.Y. Lee, has been acquitted of stock manipulation charges by a Seoul court, the judge in the case saying there wasn't enough admissible evidence to find him guilty. This is a somewhat surprising ruling, but one that should allow Lee and Samsung to move on from a case that has plagued them since 2015. Lee was convicted on charges of bribery and corruption in a separate case in 2017, and he spent some time in prison, but was ultimately pardoned by the president in 2022. Samsung is a vital business for the South Korean economy and is enmeshed with much of the larger global tech industry, which has made the series of corruption-related charges against company leadership in the past few decades incredibly inconvenient for a lot of people, including facets of the South Korean government. And from The Guardian, Nayib Bukele re-elected as El Salvador president in landslide win. El Salvadoran President Bukele won his re-election bid in a big way, taking somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 85% of the vote. The 42-year-old leader has been controversial, using authoritarian tactics to reshape the government in his image, filling all facets of it with loyalists, while cracking down on gangs in the country in a manner that has alarmed international human rights organizations. At the same time, though, he has become incredibly popular in country because those gangs were a persistent and pernicious issue, shaping everyday life in El Salvador in a big and negative way. So while he has been called a dictator by some, many locals seem happy with how he's using his allegedly dictatorial powers, which is why, despite the Constitution disallowing his re-election, he was able to run and win, and could possibly continue to do so in the future as many times as he pleases. If you're finding some value in one-sentence news, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.